The environment and resources. Humans depend on their natural environment to survive. That's the theme, human-environment interaction. We need the environment to provide energy, water, food, and other materials. In prehistoric times, people lived in areas where they could hunt, gather food, and find fresh water. Later, people settled where they found pasture for their livestock or fertile soil and sufficient water for farming. Today, rapid transportation and other technologies allow people to be less dependent on their immediate environment. However, people still need access to resources. Natural resources. Water is just one example of a natural resource. A natural resource is a useful material found in the environment. People depend on many kinds of natural resources. These resources can be divided in two types. Some are renewable and some are non-renewable. Take a look at the chart at the top of the page, and it'll tell you in this column, soil is renewable. It's formed from rocks and organic material broken down, so dead leaves, dead animals, they break back down to make more soil. And their major uses is for agriculture. We want soil that's going to be able to farm and produce food. Water is a renewable resource, and renewable means that earth or people can replace it or reuse it. So water is reusable as long as we don't pollute it or we can clean it. Plants are renewable because you can always plant more. So if we cut trees down, it takes time, but they are a renewable resource because you can use seeds to plant more. Usually grow from seeds and require water and sunlight. We use quite a few trees for paper products, and it's tissue paper, toilet paper, paper that we write on, plates, paper plates. There's napkins. That's all from paper, from tree, made into those different products. So you can imagine when you think about how much everybody uses, just think about what you have, and then there's 7.5 billion people on the planet, multiplying that amount of use by that. Now, not every culture uses it the same way that we do in the United States, or as much. Animals are renewable because you have new ones, you have babies. And so the species continue to go, you have a new supply. So they're formed through natural reproduction, require water and food. Non-renewable resources is a resource that cannot be replaced in a relatively short period of time. That would include fossil fuels, like formed over millions of years from ancient plants and animals. So we can't make more of them. They took millions of years to make in natural earth processes and being formed. But we have to drill them out of the earth. So they're used for energy, gas, oil. Lots of products are made. Plastic is made from some of the oil products. Minerals are non-renewable also. So we have a limited amount of gold on the planet. That's why it's rare and it's valuable. We have a limited amount of some minerals that are used in computer electronics. Copper is used for electrical wires. And we're running short on copper. They're trying to recycle as much as they can. So out of old houses or construction sites, when they tear it down, they save the minerals, the copper and things, because it's very valuable to use again, because we are getting low on some of these non-renewable resources. So below the chart, a renewable resource is a resource that Earth or people can replace. Examples of renewable resources include water, plants, and animals. All of these resources can be replaced over time if they are used wisely. For example, if you cut down a tree, another one can grow in its place. When dead plants decay, their nutrients become soil and make it fertile. A non-renewable resource is a resource that cannot be replaced in a relatively short period of time. Non-renewable resources include non-living things such as minerals, metal ores, and fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are non-renewable resources formed over millions of years from the remains of plants and animals. So that's oil is one of those. Coal, natural gas, petroleum, all of which we use for our energy, for transportation, to run factories, to heat our homes. Coal, natural gas, and petroleum, which is oil, are part of those. So they're important. And you think about everybody in the Northern Hemisphere that has weather when they need to heat. We're using a lot of that. And how many cars are on the planet when you have 7.5 billion people? You go through a lot of those fossil fuels. When non-renewable resources such as fossil fuels are used up, they are gone. And so they have been scientists have been warning us that we could run out of oil in the next 20 years, that they think they know where all of Earth's deposits are. and eventually we're going to have drilled it out of the earth and not have any new sources for it. Energy resources. Sources of energy are important for human activity. Some sources, such as wind and sunlight, are renewable. We continually have wind that can turn the turbines because of our rotation of Earth. Sunlight, we can take the heat, solar energy from sunlight and continue to use. Today, we mostly rely on non-renewable energy. We still use a lot of fossil fuels when scientists are trying to convince us that it'd be better for our environment, reduce climate change if we use these renewable resources like wind, sunlight, and hydroelectricity. Today, we mostly rely on non-renewable energy resources such as coal and petroleum. Because these resources are non-renewable, Earth will eventually run out of them. Some countries have large supplies of petroleum and are able to export it or sell it to other countries. Most countries, however, must buy petroleum and other energy resources from other countries.